Some of you may have a desoldering gun S-993A. The PCB is the same for the S-997 and 998 versions, only 995 has a different layout. In this video I will explain a manufacturer's oversight in the S-993/7/8 desoldering guns that I suggest fixing to prevent it exploding in your hands, as did happen to me. Also, you will see additional steps that can be taken upon wish to improve the safety of the tool. A short disclaimer first. Do not open or modify an AC mains powered device if you are not adequately qualified to do it. Any modifications you do at your own risk. Also keep in mind that my unit is an European 240 volt version. Other versions might have differences in their control circuit, and these are not covered here in this video. So here's the schematic of the S-993/7/8 desoldering gun. Both motor and heater control sections you see here. By the way, the zip of all files for download is below the video. What we are primarily concerned with is the heater control power supply section. You see here a 22 volt Zener diode to pre-regulate the voltage to 22 volts. Also a R5 resistor, which is 46 kilo ohms, and a fast switching diode, FR107. The problem in the original assembly is the power rating of the resistor. The manufacturer used a 1/4 watt resistor, and this resistor is working at the limit of its power rating. The half-wave rectified voltage drop on the resistor is almost 100 volts DC. It is easy to calculate that the resistor dissipates more than 200 milliwatts of power. And it heats like crazy. The consequences? Well, once I was working with my desoldering gun and suddenly, boom, fire and smoke in the handle, and the resistor finally gave up. The Zener and the diode, of course, blew right away. Something else I don't remember now what specifically. Here's a picture of the inside of the handle charred from that resistor rupture. So I replaced the components, but for R5 chose something much bulkier. At first I used 1 watt resistors, 2 parallel pairs connected in series, 47K resistors. This ensures plenty of headroom. By the way, S-993/7/8 desoldering guns are similar in some ways to Heiko 808, and Heiko uses bulky resistors, as you can see in this picture of a board from the Heiko desoldering gun, Heiko 808. There was no space for 4 larger resistors on the PCB component side, so I installed them on the other side of the board. Here's the picture of what it looked like at first. Not pretty, but functional. 4 1 watt resistors warm up to a safer level. At first I used carbon resistors because that's what I had at that moment, but I do not recommend them because they have a higher thermal coefficient. It is better to use metal film resistors, or even better, flame-proof ones if available. For my final mod, I decided to order 2 watt metal power resistors. 2 watt. So 4 resistors will comprise a total of 8 watts. An overkill, certainly, but those are quite compact, so they fit inside. So the mod can be limited to beefing up the resistor R5, but then the resistor R9 also dissipates quite a bit of power, and it heats a lot. A more powerful one is advisable. Also, I decided to add a fuse and a varistor in the mains input. And the 10 microfarad capacitor C1 is only 25 volts originally. That is, and that has barely gives any margin above the working voltage of 22 volts, especially in an environment where some heat is being produced. It needs to be at least 35 volts, and preferably with a 105°C rating. I decided to use a 50 volt one. Also, instead of 10 microfarads, I suggest 22 microfarads to reduce the ripple rail even more. All these modifications would be difficult to implement on the original board, so I drew up my own PCB so that all components could be conveniently soldered. The original board is double-sided, but single-sided is plenty enough for this simple design. If you opt to using my PCB and make changes on it, do not change the position of the holes, the lead, and the temperature potentiometer VT, because their place is determined by the handle cutouts. Also, some other components, if moved, can interfere with plastic posts and frames. My PCB is a bit longer than the original, it's 68.7, but there is space on in the handle. The zip file includes also my component layout with some instructions. Resistors for the R5 and R9 are soldered from both sides of the board. I do not recommend stacking them on top of each other, as then they will be very close to the case of the handle, creating a hot spot through the handle. You will feel it. Better to solder them like shown in the component layout. I suggest at least 1 watt resistors, at least 1 watt. Better 2 watt resistors. Also, best to move the flyback diode D5 straight to the contacts of the motor. Just watch the polarities. Strip goes to plus. For the D3, I used a 1.3 watt Zener. It's an overkill, but that's what I had. But a half watt Zener is plenty enough. If you decide to add a varistor, insert it and adjust it to fit in the handle, as there's not much space in the handle, and only then solder it. Here it is in the handle of my device. You can see its position is adjusted to fit in the handle. And one more thing. I saw online units that have no ground connection. That is very, very dangerous. Not even legal in many countries. So grounding the heating element is not difficult and certainly advisable. So you should see, as you will see here, you should see the connection to ground. See here. Yeah. It goes straight. See, it's under 1 ohm. And certainly that's for your own safety to ground the heating element. And also I have replaced the original cable with a silicone one. Very flexible, nice, not as long, but I had one, so I replaced it. Also, I decided to change the heater element to a different type, because the screw holding the tip in the 997 unit, it has a screw here, which you insert the tip, and then you add this and screw it in. This screw loosens easily, and then the tip starts wobbling. It's very, very annoying. So I don't recommend that. So I ordered this heating element for the S-993, and I added it to my unit. Mechanically, it's a correct fit, a direct replacement, you could say, mechanically. And after installing it, I just had to adjust the temperature calibration with the trimmer BT2. Hope this video will help you to prevent the failure of otherwise a very good tool. Thanks for watching.